Have you found that thanks to our teachings, your sleep has gotten a lot easier, but you're still waking up earlier than you'd like to? You're still having some choppy nights occasionally. You're still having superficial light sleep. If so, you're at the 7 out of 10 sleep plateau, and you've just clicked on the best video on the World Wide Web for meeting this situation. We're going to see that a version of what you're saying is, my sleep is better, but not perfect. And the answer to how to meet this situation lies in a question I have for you. What aspect of your life is perfect? Hi there, I'm Daniel. I'm a sleep physician turned sleep coach and online educator. And today we're going to talk about a common situation that our students find themselves in, which is this 7 out of 10 sleep plateau. And if this sounds familiar to you, so glad that you are here. I hear this very often. In fact, the inspiration for this video was a student who told me they were 90% recovered. And that just made me think about the topic of being kind of nearly there, having left the struggle to a great degree, but not completely. And a very common way I hear this is, as I mentioned before, my sleep is better, but far from perfect. That's very common. Or a kind of numerical way of saying this is like, I think I'm 70% recovered, or my sleep now is like a 7 out of 10. It's like things have gotten easier, but I'm not quite there yet. And again, another way of saying this is that my sleep is better, but not perfect. And that leads us to the question that we will build upon to really help you arrive where you want to be. And that question is, what aspect of your life is perfect? Or worded differently, what aspect of your life is 10 out of 10? Perfect, like immaculate. If we think about our lives, we'll see that no aspect of it really is. Am I a perfect content creator? Of course not. Am I a perfect husband? No. Am I a perfect parent? No. Am I a perfect tennis player? No. And the list goes on. I don't think we can find many aspects of our life, if any at all, where we think of ourselves as 10 out of 10, or where we think of that aspect of our life as just perfect. However, this tends to happen when we struggle with sleep. We tend to think of like, my sleep is better, but not perfect. I'm 90% recovered, not 100%. It's not quite there, right? So then the follow-up question here becomes, why are we treating sleep differently than the rest of our lives? And the answer to this is not complicated. We all actually know the answer when we think about it. This happens because we have started to think of not sleeping as a threat, a danger, something alarming, a big problem. It's no longer something that is kind of a nuisance, something that happens here and there, but not sleeping is really, really threatening to us, which is another way of saying that sleeping has become not only something that we like, but something that is a goal, something that's truly desired. And when this happens, we have trouble sleeping because sleep is a passive, effortless, involuntary process. If we really try to sleep, if we grade our sleep, try to achieve sleep, we have trouble sleeping, which is another way of saying that if we try hard to escape this perceived threat of wakefulness, we will have a lot of wakefulness, because attempting to escape a threat will keep us alert and vigilant. Now, when we see this, we can kind of look again at other aspects of our life, and we can see that we think of ourselves typically as quote unquote imperfect parents or partners, coworkers, badminton players, but we're not judging ourselves for being, let's say, 7 out of 10. We don't really expect perfection. We don't think there is such a thing as us being like a 10 out of 10 parent. Although, of course, like, you know, on a quick side note here, many people probably think of us as like the most wonderful, you know, friend, parent, whatever it is, but in our own eyes, we don't see things necessarily like that. but we still don't judge ourselves for it. Now, if we did, and some in the audience will probably recognize themselves here, if we did think that many or every aspect of our life should be perfect, should be a 10 out of 10, we will struggle. And this is when we think, I should do just like A+ work at my job. I should be a perfect parent. And my kids should also be perfect kids. They should do everything this way. And my spouse should be like this. And I should do my hobbies like this better than everybody else. We will struggle. There will be so much pressure. There will be so much self-criticism, so much judgment when we don't get to the 10 out of 10, that we will struggle. So my point here is that when we can learn that when we are treating life in general as like, I'm imperfect, I'm 7 out of 10, we don't struggle. And if we think of things in life as like, I should be 10 out of 10, we struggle. And the same applies to sleep. And here we can see that, learning this and seeing that many aspects of our life, we are a 7 out of 10 and we don't judge ourselves for it, so there's no struggle. We see that this is like a blueprint for sleep as well. Now, there is an objection I hear from the audience at this point, and it is this one: but my sleep was perfect. I could sleep anywhere so easily. I could sleep, on a couch somewhere. I could sleep when I was traveling. I was just out. My sleep was, I was like I was the best sleeper in the world. My sleep was perfect. The answer here is that you are not a robot. It was not like you went to bed exactly at 11 p.m. and you fell asleep within 1 minute, and then you had one chunk of 8 hours exactly of sleep, and then you woke up exactly at 7 a.m. and you felt amazing every day. We are not robots. We all have, there's always variability in our sleep from day to day, from night to night, from month to month, and depending on all kinds of things. So it wasn't like your sleep was perfect, but what was happening in the past was that you had zero judgment about the night. We can definitely be in a place where the idea to grade our night or our sleep never occurred to us. And so there was zero judgment of what happened. And therefore we kind of perceived, like in retrospect, we have this kind of golden sleep fallacy. Looking back, we can think my sleep was perfect, but that's not the case. There's always variability. What was happening was that there was no judgment around sleep, no thoughts about achievement or trying to grade ourselves. And that leads us to something very similar to see that, I talked about parenting and being partner and spouse, and these are more kind of like active things in life, but we can use the same parallel to other kind of like biological processes and see that there's always variability in how we are breathing. For example, if you check your respiratory rate or depth of breath, there'll be variability from day to day, month to month, day to, minute to minute, things of that nature. We're not like, we don't breathe like a robot, right? Or swallowing, right? That just happens by itself. It's nothing, that happens exactly the same every day. There's a variability there. But typically we have zero judgment about these automatic processes. And when we have like, we don't even think about judging our breathing or our swallowing. It just happens. Like, so we can, in a way we could, if we then have, let's put it this way, if we start thinking, I should be breathing in a different way, I should be swallowing in a different way, we can struggle with that. A lot of people I've come across that struggle with their breathing, like their subjective sense of their breathing and swallowing. So again, same thing happens. If we think like this shouldn't be like that, my breathing shouldn't be like this way, we can struggle with our breathing. We can struggle with swallowing. So this thing, so I'm just kind of illustrating how the same applies not only to kind of active parts of our life, but also to like these passive automatic processes that happen. And when we see this, we also see that, again, we can have variability. We all have variability in how we breathe and swallow, but we can have zero judgment about this automatic process, and then there is no struggle. And now, to kind of conclude here, without the expectation that there is such a thing as 10 out of 10 sleep or perfect sleep, then there is no self-grading and no self-criticism, and we have moved past the last insomnia obstacle. The last obstacle truly that I see all the time is this like self-criticism, the thinking that I'm just not good enough. This is not good enough. This isn't the way it should be. And then that leads to kind of like this lingering, 7 out of 10 plateau. It really comes from self-criticism. And when we have left that, then we arrive at a place of peace of mind and peaceful nights, which is where we all want to be. And I hope this was helpful in leading you in that direction. Let me know what you thought in the comment section, and we shall go from there. Thanks for tuning in for this one. Bye for now. Hi, it's me, Daniel, and I hope the video you just watched made a ton of sense for you. That's, of course, what it's there for, to help you find the answers that lead away from insomnia into a place of peaceful sleep for the rest of your life. We share everything we know freely for this reason. However, finding the answers that are relevant to your specific circumstances may require some time and bandwidth that you may not have. Maybe you have a demanding job. Maybe you have children that rely on you. Maybe you have other obligations that take up much of that time and bandwidth that could have been so helpful on your path of leaving insomnia. If this sounds like your situation, then we have the perfect solutions for you, the Insomnia Immunity program or bedtime. In both of these programs, we have a curriculum where the key teachings are laid out in a structured step-by-step fashion, so you don't have to search for them. There's also somebody who understands insomnia, who can answer your questions in a timely way, so you don't have to spend your time and your bandwidth searching for those key answers. If either of these options sound like something you'd like to explore, then go to our website, thesleepcoachschool.com. And if you decide to join, we look forward to seeing you on the other side.